of arms.
We're here in Queen Street in downtown Toronto on a Friday afternoon because right here the Liberals and the Public Safety Ministry are hosting one of their public consultations with the stakeholders involved in the handgun and assault weapon ban debate. This meeting was put together in less than a week. In fact, our friend Giltaca from the CCFR flew in from Vancouver last night. He's going to be attending the meeting. We're going to catch up with him and find out what's happened.
I find myself here at the Sheraton, downtown Toronto on Queen Street, and I'm with my friend Giltaca. He has flown in from Vancouver, basically on the red eye last night. We're going to discuss what he's walking into.
We're here for the public consultation and on the potential handgun or assault weapon ban. But I got an email on Friday at 4:30 Eastern Time saying that I was invited to a public consultation in Toronto, but I had to respond by the end of business on Monday. And I did respond to it, but I put in all caps, please confirm that you've received this email. And then, yes, we will be attending, and then I gave them all the information that they requested. So I received nothing after that. So I have no idea whether I'm even going to get into this thing. And there was no information on the room that it was being held in. So just half an hour ago, I called Bill Blair's office, and they're like, yeah, we don't have that information, what room it's in. I wouldn't take no for an answer, and so finally they dug it up. So we know what room it's being held in now. And you know, it's kind of interesting because here I found myself in Ottawa. They invite me to the one in Toronto. I'm from Vancouver, so this is a very expensive trip on short notice. On the way here, I was talking to Tracy Wilson, and she just heard that on October 22nd there was a meeting in Vancouver. So
Did you get invited?
I was not invited to that one, but I'm invited to the one in Toronto. And so I don't know. It's hard to know what to think. We don't know how many meetings there are. We don't know where they are. We don't know who's been invited. We don't know what times they start. Nothing. It's all completely secret, unless you get a special invitation to which they won't confirm, and then you just show up there and hope that you're in. This leads me to think a couple of things. Either the government's already made up its mind what it's going to do. We don't know what that is, right? And it could be, yeah, we're just going to ban everything. Or, you know what, this is a political exercise before the next election and make it a promise if we get reelected. I don't know, but it's like they've made up their mind and they're just doing this to justify their actions. So it's particularly frustrating. You know, this whole thing is a really serious public safety matter, and so that leads me to believe that they've already made up their minds, but whatever. At least we're part of the conversation. I guess that's half of it. You know, the government has to be very careful the way that it wields its power, because it has something like this can be incredibly divisive beyond anything that they're willing to discuss. Extremely divisive. When you use your power to say, well, 3 people out of 2.2 million have done something wrong, so we're taking all of your property. That is a real abuse of power, and I just hope that doesn't happen. It's a serious topic with very serious consequences, and it's a slap in the face. But I mean, you know, if I look at it from a pragmatic point of view, we are invited, we're here, and at least we're going to witness it, and who knows, maybe it'll be better than I think, right?
Hope for the best. Hi. Yeah. Great. Thank you.
Okay, the meeting has just wrapped up. We've chased down Rod here. And Rod, can you give us some feedback on how it went?
So I thought actually that it was pretty good. And the minister was fairly open-minded to everything, so he said. This process, I think, is independent from what's actually going to happen, but that's my own pessimistic view of things. The process itself, I'd say there was maybe 10, 15 people that were part of the roundtable, and of course public safety and the RCMP firearms program and the minister and his people. But I thought the group was small enough that we all could talk about all of the things that were on our minds and react to some of the things that the government is looking to do. And I think overall, almost everyone acted in a really great and professional manner, and it was very productive. And I think everyone brought honesty, which is good. And that there was a really good discussion there. And I think that kind of thing has to happen more often, because I think there was a lot of honest discussion, and that's really hard to find on the firearm and on the gun control topic. So now there was a little bit of drum beating with some wide sweeping, generalities like more guns equal more death kind of stuff, right? Which I personally took issue to. And I tried to make sure that our position was, hey, we're here for an honest dialogue, and that's not honest. Let's bring it back to that honest dialogue if we really want to solve problems. So there was a group there that were looking at the demand side of this whole equation, which is why are people sourcing handguns? Why are people that don't have firearms licenses pursuing handguns and carrying them and all the rest of that stuff? And so there was some discussion about public safety from that perspective. Just because you have firearms doesn't mean you want to shoot anybody. What is it exactly behind people wanting to shoot each other? And that's how you dry up the demand side. And so there was, I think, enough emphasis put on the demand side, which is really important, because that's 90 unqualified number, as I like to say. That's 90% of this equation. A handgun ban from people that have a license and saying that anything that's a semi-auto that has a detachable magazine or whatever your definition of an assault weapon is, a ban on that's not going to have anything to do with people that don't have a firearms license, right? And drying up the supply in a country that not only has probably 20 million firearms in circulation today domestically, and then having a 6,000 kilometer border with a country that has over 300 million firearms. I mean, we have to come back to reality and try to figure out what's going to work and implement that. Like when I walked in, that was going to be my big thing. Why don't we define what it is we're trying to ban first, and then talk about how to curb the consumption or circulation of that. So, which is a glaring hole in this whole argument of theirs, right? But what ended up happening is they admitted we don't have a real working definition for this. We're just looking for strategies to cut down on the illicit use of firearms, and we focused more on that, which I thought was actually useful. So that was something that wasn't intuitive for me. I was ready to let's derail this thing because you guys don't even know what it is you want to ban. But it actually was quite a productive conversation. I actually really enjoyed it, and I walked out talking to people saying, we need to do more of this if we really want to find the problem and how to solve it. More honesty and more professionalism, which is it tends not to be a very professional conversation. It tends to be very ideologically biased and raving lunatics, and everybody's hurling insults at each other. But if you handle it more in a business-like manner, where you have a certain level of behavior expected from you, and you come from an honest position where I want to stop people shooting other people too, then I thought it was really productive. I actually enjoyed the process. I don't want to put too much emphasis. This is not related to what the government's going to do. And I still don't believe that this great little experience, which I actually thought it was pretty good, a great conversation certainly, I don't know that that's going to be related in any way to the way the government's going to handle policy development, but I guess in a perfect world it would. So maybe I should just be optimistic.
I'd like to thank Rod for chatting with us and inviting us to come out and talk to him and give a little bit of coverage of this public consultation event. And we're actually going to head down to the bar right now because I'm sure you're tired of talking and you'd like a cool beverage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty.
Thanks, Doug.
And so you don't miss out, like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on youtube.com. This is Coat of Arms.